Good evening. So let's see how we're gonna get started. On my combi switch or combination switch, the when I turn on the headlights and I drive at night and I make a right turn up, I can do it. Let's see. There we go. What happens is on mine that is so worn out that the high beams actually come on. This part here in here has worn out. Mine is still in the car and it goes basically this here and it makes a contact, so I have to lift it up a little bit and in, and then the high beams go off. So I decided I needed to get a new combi switch. Electrically it is working, but it is mechanically just worn out from all these years. And I found out that Mercedes-Benz no longer makes part number 12654533124. So that left me with two choices, Euro and Febi. I ordered the Euro part. I think it was $56 from Autohaus AZ, and I think it was $9.99 for the shipping. And then I thought, well, let's take a look at the Febi one, because they sell this now. I forgot which place I ordered that from. I think it may have been Pelican Parts, which I tend to order parts from. And it was $111 or $120 plus shipping. Now, as you can see, I'm going to put them, see how we can do this. I do know a couple of things about injection molding, and let me see how we can get a real nice view of this. The first thing is the commonalities, because you're looking essentially at exactly the same part. The Febi part is the Febi part number stamped in or printed on here. You go over here and here's the Euro part. Now you take a real close look at these holder brackets, or these, you can't really say rivets, but these connectors, these crimp connectors, which hold this together. You can see this is exactly the same thing. Now, when we turn the thing around, the best way to see this is this way. I gotta zoom back out. Here, sorry. That is tricky. We want to focus on, from the injection molding process, you have usually the entry points, which are these here. That black round hole and this black round hole over here. And then you can see the inserted nuts and the inserted metal guides. Now we look at the Euro part and you will see that these, oops, the other side, this way, that this is exactly the same. I can show you these two next to each other. Let me see how we can do this to get a nice view. Euro part, Febi part. Euro part, Febi part. This tells me that these upper parts were done in the same injection molding machine with the same plastic granulate. The covers on these here the same. Everything on here is exactly the same. There's no difference in it. Not an inch of difference. You can measure this whole thing out. You can see this here and you can see this here. Here again is from the injection molding process, and they're exactly in the same position on the other part. So they were not also made, they were not on the same machine, but they're also using the same die, which means it is the same manufacturer for both of these units. So they're going to be equally in quality. The same goes for the wiring. When you read this here, you can see this is the Febi part, and Febi had printed on the circuit numbers. The soldering is of typical Chinese quality, It is hand soldered and probably should be resoldered. You can see this, how uneven the solder amounts are on the contacts. You can see this here. And now we're going to look at the Euro part, and you will see the only difference here, no, they got the same thing, 15. The circuit numbers on both of them. You can also see that this is hand soldered, and they did the same process. You have on the black one, they have less solder than they have on the other one. This could be almost a cold solder spot. So these items were manufactured by the same company for Febi and for Euro. There's absolutely no difference in these parts. Absolutely none. You can see the holder bracket here, which holds that wiring harness, is exactly the same part as what you got here. The only difference is, let me zoom back out because I forgot that the other day, and it is fairly easy to zoom in, but not easy to zoom out. So now we can zoom out. The left one again is the Febi part, and this is the Euro part. $56, $110 or $120. Now I would like to ask you, and the same with the connectors, I haven't opened them because I'm probably going to return one of them. You can see this, except that this little hose here is a little bit shorter on the Febi part. You can pull it back, and it is a little bit longer here. That little thing, yeah, that hose what they put over there, the protector. But you can see it, the same wire tie to tighten it in, the same type of plug. Everything is exactly the same, even the color code of the wires. So this was exactly made by the same company. The printing on the stuff here is exactly the same. You can see this when we put them on like this. Now my question to you is, so this is basically where this is at with the parts. And essentially it is not worth buying the Febi part because the Euro part, which is half the price, is exactly the same quality as the Febi part. Now I would like to know if you would like to post a comment and tell me which ones would you use. Would you use the Euro part and return the Febi part for refund? Or would you rely on the name brand Febi and say, I'm going to use the Febi no matter what and return the Euro part because they're still returnable since we haven't opened the protection here for the wire. And I can send them back, either one of the two, for refund. But this is basically what this has come down to. I also got a replacement rotor cap, distributor cap from Bosch. And that one, which I got just 2 days ago, is even worse than the one I got in the car right now, which is still operational, but it is not the best. And this is Bosch. I will be making a separate video, and that video will be coming up when I get the distributor cap for Mercedes-Benz, which is also Bosch, but a Mercedes-Benz part number. And then we can compare all three of those, and you can see on how bad things have gotten in the car business, whether it's German or wherever this is coming from. This, what you're seeing here, is Chinese. And I believe the Chinese selling them the same thing what you're seeing here, exactly the same one, for 20 bucks or something like this on eBay with free shipping. But this is probably going to be even worse than these two. I will, whatever one I'm going to use, I will resolder these connections here. Like I said, especially the black one. If you see this, I do not give neither one of these parts. You can see how little solder there's on there, how much solder or how bad of a solder spot that is that didn't make a good contact. They have to be reheated basically, and this is for both of them the same. They really don't do much difference here. This is from a quality point from the soldering, it is pretty shitty, to say this at least. And that indicates that it comes out of the Middle East. It could be possible that they even have gone to Vietnam now, because that's the latest craze with these people, is because the Chinese labor has gotten too expensive, so they went under the Vietnamese, and they're making these parts now. But anyway, leave a comment, please, and let me know which one do you think I should use. And with that, you have a good night.